Good Monday morning to you, my illustrious zucchini noodles of cockatiel cocktails. Coffee cheers to you. It is I, Hallie, with June's weekly read book review, episode 3. I'm still off the Instagram. Wrote a short blog about it. I'll link in the description below for you if you care to know how that's going. But mostly I miss it. But happy you're here to talk about the 3 books I finished this week and the book I'm currently reading and the books I might read next. So huzzah for stories. Let's talk about books. Cool. Okay, the first one I finished. This is A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf. Amazing. I used to read a lot of classics, and I highlighted a lot. It's more of an essay, as if she were giving a lecture about women in literature, and like, what do you even want me to say about that? So she says everything. We do have a brief thing about what would have happened if Shakespeare had a talented sister, and the very few opportunities she would have had. We talk about women novelists and poets throughout history, and A Room of One's Own basically is women are still required, expected to do so much that we do not have the brain capacity to write poetry unless we have a certain amount of income and a room of one's own where everybody leaves us alone. So absolutely love this. It's pretty short. This was nice big type, came in at only about 170 pages, so highly recommend. It will not take as much effort, and her turn of phrase is just stunning. So hooray for like real life solid literature. And it's accessible. And sometimes I forget that because it's a classic. And so you think, it's going to be hard to read and I don't want to feel like I'm in high school again. But this was so good. Highly recommend. Room of One's Own, Virginia Woolf. Huzzah. Okay. Next, I read something completely different. This is Dreadful by rozakis. This was a Barnes & Noble, I think, speculative fiction or maybe their sci-fi fantasy pick of the month this month. Stunning. Okay. First of all, had to buy it because look at those edges, those sprayed stenciled edges with the little skulls, and yeah, garlic, because reasons. So this was hilarious and awkward and funny. It was very voicey, which is rare. This is adult kind of mystery fantasy, cool, and very voicey, even though it was third person, so we weren't in first person. But the premise is, getting to the good part, guys, a dark wizard wakes up with amnesia in his laboratory, and so he finds himself in this tacky castle, and via his like FaceTiming mirror, another dark lord who's descending on his village in a week with 2 other dark wizards to perform a ritual is on his way, and he doesn't know what the ritual is, why there's a kidnapped princess in his dungeons, and is he supposed to presume the cloak of dark wizard, but he's like, but maybe I'm not evil, and maybe I don't want to kill the princess, and what's happening? So hilarious. There's goblins, there's a garlic festival in the town because that's all the town managed to grow as their sacrifice for the year, etc. So recommend. A little bit of mannishness, but mostly not, it's not explicit. It's just, you know, sometimes women are attractive to males. That's all. Okay? So this was Dreadful. rozakis, adult fantasy, very funny, very voicey, and a gorgeous just book design. Cool? Yeah. Okay. And if you can hear it, I'm sorry about my neighbor's weed eater. Okay, the next one I finished, I've been putting off and on for a few weeks, a month now. This is Do Not Detonate Without Presidential Approval. Yeah, longest title in the world, because it's still going. A portfolio on the subjects of mid-century cinema, the Broadway stage, and the American West. Inspirations for Wes Anderson's Asteroid City. I almost made it through that. Edited by Jake Perlin. So, this is a collection of film criticism, of essays, of journal entries, of photographs, everything from Marilyn Monroe making the Misfits out in the desert, to recent criticism on recent films I haven't seen, and Sam Shepard, the playwright, and diary from a guy who shared scenes with Francois Truffaut when they made Close Encounters of the Third Kind with Spielberg, back in the 70s when no one had even heard of Star Wars, but George Lucas came to set because he and Spielberg were friends, and yeah, it sounds like it's gonna be good, whatever. So I loved this. Very quirky, like things from the New Yorker, Time Magazine, and again, modern film criticism, which I hadn't really read, but just made more movies I want to watch now. But I did love Asteroid City. There's one scene I wish I'd left out. Could have kept it PG. Whatever. It's a blip, but loved Asteroid City. And I love knowing how artists, whether or not they're aware of their inspirations, kind of put all the things they love into the new thing they're creating. It's fascinating, right? Okay, cool. That's what I read this week, guys. Currently reading, not that far into it, but reading Duet by Elise Broach. This is middle grade fiction. So far, by page 68, we're still only being narrated to by our goldfinch Mirabelle here. So she lives in the bush with her family outside a house of a piano maestro, and a boy who is a prodigy at playing Chopin comes for lessons, a reluctant player because he misses his old teacher Emily. The bird sings along to Chopin. That's what I know. So again, being narrated by a bird. So if you have a nature lover or a music lover reader in your family, this might be great. I thought the cover art was lovely. Particularly obsessed, I don't know why, but I'm an illustrator, so I look at these things. Both the semi-transparent notes coming out of the piano, the kid's posture, and that little tree shadow outside the window. I just love it. So that is enjoying that. And might read next. You know how that goes. I've listened to the podcast when the Folger Shakespeare Library interviewed her, and I got this the day it came out, but I haven't read it yet. This is Judi Dench, Shakespeare, The Man Who Pays the Rent. So this is a collection of interviews, and hey, there's my Mansfield Park bookmark that I stuck in there. But I haven't started it. Really want to read that. Love it. I am so close to done with this. Again, a nonfiction one I just set to the side. This is Forest for the Trees by Betsy, lerner, about editing and books, and I should just finish it because it won't take long. Also, I don't know why, but this one's been staring at me from my TBR, and I really want to read True Grit. Never saw the movie, probably can't handle it. It's probably violent and gooey. I don't know. But probably because I read that book about the Wes Anderson Asteroid City that I'm in the mood for a Western. Can't say I've ever read a Western. Yeah, that's all I know. Used to watch Lone Ranger growing up, but I don't think that counts. I don't know. And then, you know, I've been obsessed with Japanese fiction. This is kind of the basis, from what I can tell from my very limited research, of why so much Japanese fiction revolves around cats. This is I Am a Cat by Sōseki Natsume, written in like the first few years of the 1800s, and this is a collection of all 3 volumes. The first volume is only 116 pages, so perhaps I will read that. It's not as long as this ginormous book collection, but I'm curious where it all began. So, I Am a Cat, Japanese fiction, and I'm probably going to need some light-hearted middle grade fiction again. So we're going to go in for another adventure. This is Greenwild by Thomson. Heard great things. The sequel just came out, and I'm curious. We love a portal fantasy. We love plant magic. We love discovering who we really are. That's what, and kids fiction always ends on hope. So we get adventure, not too scary, and hope. So looking forward to that. So which of these books I'll actually read, only time shall tell, and you'll find out next Monday morning. Cool? All right, let me know what stories you're reading, loving, enjoying watching. I did have my weekly Bluey marathon last night while I repainted my nails, and that's all I got. So we will chat more books and art soon. I shall be in the studio working on projects this week, so I'm excited. Okay, talk to you later, guys. Bye! Mwah!